Back before Dance Dance Revolution made gamers break sweat while making them think that what they were doing was actually considered dancing, the NES Power Pad had gamers stomping all around their living rooms in all manner of ways. The pad was first released in 1986 in Japan by Bandai as the Family Trainer, and then a year later in North America and Europe as the Family Fun Fitness Pad. Then, in 1988, Nintendo acquired the rights from Bandai and renamed it to how we refer to it today, simply the Power Pad, and subsequently removed all the Family Fun fitness mats from stores. Only a few Power Pad compatible games were released, including the fabled Stadium Events / World Class Track Meet pack-in title. The game, or rather games, that I'll be highlighting today are on the combo cartridge Short Order / Eggsplode. Before we get into it though, for the uninitiated, the Power Pad has two sides. Side A, which includes 8 circles in a hexagon shape, 2 red in the middle and then 6 blue, and side B, which includes 12 numbered circles with the left side blue and the right side red. Both games on today's cartridge only use side B. Also worth noting, this cartridge was the last one released for the Power Pad way back in December of '89. And with that, let's hop in and see what's up. Short Order and Eggsplode are distinct experiences on the cartridge. Short Order is a fast-paced, memory-based burger stacker, and Eggsplode is a more reflex-driven, bomb-defusing challenge. Now, starting with Short Order, you assume the role of a short order cook who specializes in apparently making impossible-to-eat burgers. I've eaten at a place that offered burgers with up to 10 patties, and it only seemed mildly appealing, but only from the standpoint of telling the story later about how I ordered a 10-patty burger, ate it, and then moaned desperately for a paramedic in a nearby alleyway sometime later. Apparently, the customers at this burger joint have no fear of indigestion or gut ruptures and demand 10-story burgers at the minimum. Now, to be fair, not all 10 ingredients have to be patties. The customers choose between the 4 ingredients. 100% Angus all-beef patties, probably, tomato, cheese, and lettuce. No onion, no pickles. If you want condiments, you'll have to add those yourself over at the condiment station. Now, you can challenge a friend in a turn-taking 2-player mode, or you can take on the 5 different campaigns on your own. You can choose to construct a 10, 20, 30, or 40-story burger, or say screw it and go for a 99. The way it works is, well, there's a mouse in the restaurant, and while that sounds like a health code violation, and is in most jurisdictions, here the mouse is actually a paying customer telling you how they want their burger to be constructed. The mouse will indicate which ingredient goes on the bun and in what order, and it's your job to hop around on the mat to the corresponding numbers in that same order. A 10-story burger is kinda easy. It's not too difficult to remember 10 items in a row, especially when they're shown to you each time. The mouse will run through the same ingredients in the same order as before, and add a new one each turn until there's 10. You do as the mouse does in a sort of Simon Says fashion when it's your turn. You're allowed up to 3 mistakes before you fail, and then, I guess the mouse has you fired? If you succeed, the mouse gulps the burger down in one bite, and you win. Now, I should add, it's not just a mouse. If you go for 20 stories, it's a bug. 30 is a duck. And both 40 and the 99 challenge is a big ol' pig. I think they intended players to hop from each pair of numbers to the next with both feet at once, but that is super tiring. I found it easier to just step between each because an ingredient doesn't count until both numbers on the pad are pressed. There is a timer, so you can't take too long between each ingredient, but this generally isn't a problem, even if you choose not to hop and go for the slightly slower stepping method. Beyond 10 stories, I found the game to get rather tough. The 99 challenge seems like it would be nearly impossible to me unless you have a savant memory or you write down each new ingredient as you go and then read off of your notes as you hop around or step around. I tried both Short Order and Eggsplode with my daughter, who is 6, thinking she might enjoy the physical interactions they provided, and here in Short Order, she had trouble getting the hang of looking at the screen for the instructions, and then also minding where her feet were. Not to mention, her attention span didn't really lend itself to following instructions closely for too long. She would have probably got the hang of it eventually, but she lost interest much sooner than I did. Plus, she enjoyed being the camera person for me more than playing the game. I personally enjoy the game for what it is. It's just a memory game that requires a little exercise to go with it, but the Power Pad is very responsive, so there were rarely any moments where I was frustrated with the game or the accessory, and more just reminded of my age and failing memory. Definitely recommended though if you want to put your memory to the test. Also, if you want a burger that is just 40% cheese and 10% patty, have it your way. Now on to Eggsplode. Unlike Short Order, you don't have to pair your feet together and hop around. This is more of a single step type of experience. If you have 4 friends who want to wear socks in your house and sweat all over your living room with you, then the game does support up to 5 players. Not at once though, it's not Twister. The way the game works, there are 12 chickens nesting, each chicken represented by a number on your power pad. There's a fox in the hen coop, and he runs around to random chickens and plants a bomb under them. You gotta step on the corresponding power pad chicken in order to grab the bomb before it explodes, or else, chicken nuggets. The fox doesn't prioritize self-preservation in this act of poultry terrorism, as he too is subject to the explosion. In fact, as you proceed through the game, the fox is joined by more fox compatriots, up to 3 total, who continue to add frenzy to the situation by adding multiple bombs at a time. There are 2 different types of bombs the foxes can plant. The first are the red bombs, which take about 3 to 4 seconds to explode, so you have a bit of time to react, but the orange ones have a shorter fuse and will explode in about 2 to 3 seconds, so you have to respond a little quicker to those. In the midst of the chaos, these chickens are also laying their eggs, and if you accidentally stomp on an egg instead of a bomb, that counts as a miss, and you only get 2 misses before it's a game over. Now, it's an immediate game over if any of the bombs go off. But if you are able to avoid stomping on the eggs, within a few seconds it will hatch, and a little birdie will immediately fly away. You know how newborn baby chickens are, with their immediate gift of flight. Now, my daughter had less success with this one, but she was at least entertained. It was too frenetic for her to constantly look up to the screen and then back down to get her bearings on where to be in time. We had more success when she just looked at her feet and I told her which number to get to, and that was still fun for her. So ultimately, while Short Order and Eggsplode seem like kids' games, mileage may vary depending on your kid's coordination and interest. 2 things she likely inherited from me because mine suffered as well. The music can be repetitive but never overly offensive to the ears, while the graphics are perfectly fine for what these games set out to convey. Now, before we end here, one little thing I find charming about this cartridge is the game select screen. As you switch between the 2 games, the animals who represent each game interact with the marquee. So the pig and the mouse move the Eggsplode sign out of the way when you want to play Short Order. And the bomb-planting fox will come out and remove the Short Order marquee when you want to play Eggsplode. It's cute! I will say, I do like these games for what they are. They are active, engaging, and responsive. However, you do get exhausted quickly. Probably quicker than you think you will. So I can't recommend playing them solo, at least not for very long, unless you're looking to drench yourself in sweat, but chances are you'll get tired of it and move on quicker than it took you to get your power pad out of wherever it's buried in your closet. At least 2 players competing for a high score in either game can certainly make for a decent time. Now, obviously, acquiring a power pad isn't tenable for everyone, and for those choosing to emulate their NES games, that might be even more of a hurdle, but if you're motivated to figure it out, there are virtual solutions that can help you get around it, or even incorporate your own custom-made mats that simulate the power pad's functionality. And I think that's going to do it for Short Order and Eggsplode on the NES. And as always, call the health department if you see a mouse in a restaurant. And thanks for watching.